StrayAllDay.com.
Baldwin, DreAllDay.com, WorkOnYourGame.com. We are on today's Daily Discipline. We are talking about being a difference maker. Now, I did a whole episode on this, a couple episodes actually, in my masterclass where I talked about the good players versus the difference makers. And I use sports as an analogy here, but this is definitely not limited to sports. It applies to all aspects of life. And what it means is the following. In teams, for example, you have the good players. A good player is a player who shows up, they deliver, they do what's expected of them, they do their job, they do a very good job, a solid job. You know you can count on them, that they're going to produce at a certain level. And again, you can apply this to a business, a sales team, a family, a sport, any group or organization. You got these people who are solid contributors and they do what they're supposed to do, and they're good to even very good at what they do. The thing with good players is that a good player doesn't really change the trajectory of any group that they're in. They basically can help maintain whatever is going on. The team is already good. A good player they'll stay good. The team is pretty bad. A good player will do their thing, but they're not really going to raise the level of the team. A difference maker, on the other hand, is a different type of individual. Difference maker is the type of individual who raises the level of any group that they're in. Yes, they are good at what they do and they deliver and all that stuff, but they go a step further than that. Because what the difference maker does is that they can change the trajectory of the situation. They can change the outcomes of a team just by their presence. And being a difference maker versus being a good player is not a skill difference. It's a psychology difference. The psychology difference with the difference maker is that they're looking at the entire organization and they're saying, all right, how do I make sure this whole organization goes to the level that I want it to go to? How do I make sure that everybody is and how do I make sure we're all winning? How do I make sure that this whole thing is a winning situation? What do I need to do if one of these good players on my team, in my group, they don't deliver on what they're supposed to do, which makes it harder for the whole team? You know what? I'm not going to let us end up losing just because these three people on the team didn't do their job today or they didn't come to work today. We're still going to win. I'm just going to pick up the slack. The difference maker has the mentality of, I'm looking at the whole organization as it's mine. And I got to make sure the whole organization is successful, as opposed to the good player's mentality, which is, I got to do what I got to do. I got to do my job. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to honor fulfill my obligation, but my obligation doesn't go beyond what I'm supposed to do. The difference maker, their obligation goes beyond what they personally need to do, and they look at the entirety of any entity they're a part of, and they say, I'm going to make sure the whole entity is winning because I'm part of it. That's their mindset. And again, this is not a skill difference. This is a psychology difference. And the difference makers, usually, if you look at the sports world, the difference makers are those people who are, again, they're thinking about, how do I make sure the whole team is doing their thing? So you think of a Michael Jordan, he's that type of guy. LeBron James is that type of guy. Kobe Bryant, to not quite at the level of Michael Jordan, I would say, but he had the mentality. He wanted to be that. I don't know. You can argue whether he was or not. If you go back in the days, you had Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas. These are the kind of people who were these guys. And one litmus test you can have for the difference makers, any of you wants to know, look at when random different people get on their teams. Notice how they always find a way to be successful, regardless of who was around them. See, a difference maker, it doesn't really matter. It does matter, but it doesn't who you put around them, because a difference maker will always find a way to be successful. The difference maker will be successful regardless of the environment you put them in and regardless of the other individuals you put next to them. So if you put subpar individuals next to a difference maker, they will find a way to be successful with those subpar people. You put above average people next to them, they're going to be great with that too, but they're going to find a way to win either way. And people can come in and out around the difference maker. The difference maker is always going to find success. Those people might be successful with the difference maker, unsuccessful outside of their environment, but the difference maker is always successful because that's who they are. That's their mindset. And anybody you put around them, their level is going to go up just because they're around that person. And again, I just use sports examples there as an analogy, but I want you to apply this to what you do if you're not an athlete. Apply this to your business, apply this to the company that you work for, apply this to your family, apply this to your home life, apply this to your community. All of these things apply in every area. So with that, I got to get on my call. My assistant's waiting for me, but make sure you are texting me so that you're in my text community and you're getting my daily motivation and let me mute myself, and my weekly motivation messages that come out every daily motivation and Monday motivations that come out every day and every week respectively. My number is 305-384-6894. It's down below in the description. And WorkOnYourGameUniversity.com. That's the place where I do all my coaching. Any of you want to be coached by me directly, just go to WorkOnYourGameUniversity.com. That link's down below in the description. and work on your game. Dre, all